Have you ever been whacked in the face by a giant flying beetle? Well, frankly, it really hurts. Especially when those spines dig into your skin and trying to take that thing off, it's really not easy. Here he is flying. Anyway, I bring this up because this particular beetle lives in the rainforest of Madagascar, that big island off Africa. I spend a lot of time in the rainforest these days. Actually, it's kind of like my second office. But beyond that, it's had a big impact on my life, especially one forest in particular. This is a rainforest in Borneo. It's full of orangutans, hornbills, leaf monkeys, and spectacular insects. I know that sounds kind of ridiculous, but these insects are truly gorgeous. Every color you can imagine. Some of my most precious memories are from this forest. Hiking under the giant trees, swimming in the crystal clear creeks, and of course, seeing the animals. But this forest no longer exists in this form. Shortly after my last visit, a logging company came and tore down those trees. It bulldozed the creeks, and I don't know what happened to the animals. But in that forest destruction, something else was born, a person impassioned to make a difference. I was a lucky child. Growing up, my mom was a travel agent, and my father had about 1 million airline miles, and together they wanted to show my sister and I the world. So we went all over. We went to places like Australia, Venezuela, Costa Rica, Botswana, and of course, Borneo. But Borneo wasn't the first special place I lost, and it certainly wasn't the last. However, the destruction of that forest led me to try to make a difference. So in college, I started writing a book about rainforests, what they are, and why we have to save them. I spent 3 years writing the book. Eventually, I found a publisher. Everything seemed to be going just right. But then one day, I got a call from the publisher. It didn't have the money to put pictures in the book. That was a huge setback for me. After all, how could I convey the beauty of these places without photos? Well, about that time, there was a new thing called the internet. So I decided to put the book up online for free. I called it mangabay.com, after another special place, Nosy Manga Bay, a spectacular island off Madagascar that's also the home of that beetle. But beyond the beetle, there are a lot of other interesting creatures there as well. Anyway, much to my surprise, the website grew popular. So popular, in fact, it started generating revenue when I put ads on it. So I quit my day job and never looked back. Since then, Mangabay has become one of the most popular conservation sites on the web. It drew more than 10 million visitors last year. But most importantly, it's had a real impact. So last year, there was a military coup in Madagascar, and its beloved rainforests were logged for timber. As the forest fell, lemurs were killed for a commercial bushmeat trade, and communities were threatened with violence. Because the coup leaders were involved in the carnage, it was extremely difficult to stop. But what could I do? Well, I had Mangabay, so I started writing articles. I learned that a European shipping company was trafficking the timber. That would be my opportunity for impact. So during last year's climate talks in Copenhagen, I reached out to my network. I sent an email arguing that now was the time to make the world aware of what was really happening in Madagascar. From that one email, tens of thousands of messages went out. The messages actually reached the delegations in Copenhagen. The international outcry was so intense, the company stopped trafficking rosewood. Pressure continued to build, and 3 months later, the government of Madagascar announced a ban on the rosewood trade, dramatically slowing an industry that had been destroying forests, communities, and wildlife. Going after Madagascar's wildlife trade didn't require particularly advanced technology. All it really took was the right message getting to the right people at the right time. Maybe next time it will be a Facebook post, a tweet, a text message, or a YouTube video. The lesson here today is that today anyone can have an impact. It's going to take people with all different interests and backgrounds, writers, photographers, programmers, artists. But if you have passion, you as an individual can make a difference. And together, we can save the Madagascars, the Borneos, and the other special places around the world. Thank you.